Ladies and gentlemen, good evening to all of you, or good morning. Once again, you are welcome here on the Tribune of Awakening Consciousness. So, it's very, very tense for the Europeans as a whole. It's very tense on Volodymyr Zelensky, a double pressure. At the moment we are speaking, since what happened between Volodymyr Zelensky and President Donald Trump, the situation is radically changing. Is America preparing to leave NATO? This is the big question that many are asking themselves after this statement on the X network, which was made by the great, very influential figure of the American administration, Elon Musk. What is this statement about, and why? Does it make many think that in a short time, America will definitively withdraw from NATO? On the other side, we have Russia threatening, let's put it that way, threatening Europe, Ukraine's allies, to compel Zelensky, to force Zelensky to find a solution to the Ukrainian problem through diplomacy, therefore through dialogue. Otherwise, it becomes very complicated. And so, ladies and gentlemen, these are the two situations we will discuss in this video conference. But before continuing, as you know, I ask you to share this video conference as much as possible. Put a lot of likes, engage a lot, because if you don't interact, for those who just come to watch without interacting, the platform will consider you as non-existent people. And that's why after some time they will unsubscribe you. So put a lot of likes. That's what gives the video conference enough visibility. It encourages me, it gives me motivation. So, even if I am unwell sometimes, I take the time to be here to give you real-time information. As you can sense from me, you feel that, well, I'm not feeling too well, but we're here for you. So share the video conference. It encourages me to continue providing you with real information, well-analyzed information. Let's dive into the depths, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Let's start with Russia. Russia, which is threatening Ukraine and Europe. It should be noted, for those who did not follow our previous video conference, that there is a summit taking place in London, which was held in London. I don't know if they have finished or not, but they are not understanding each other. In the context of this summit, what Zelensky refused to the United States of America, a ceasefire, is what he is being asked to accept. There is no agreement at this level. Macron rushed to announce that there was an agreement. There will be a 1-month truce. Keir Starmer, the British Prime Minister, came out to say that this is not true. We have not yet reached an agreement. Following all this and what happened in the United States of America between Trump and Zelensky, it is the Kremlin spokesperson who breaks his silence. This gentleman called Dmitry Peskov, he breaks his silence and speaks on behalf of Russia, of the Russian Federation. He says this: Zelensky must be forced to accept a negotiation, to move towards peace. So here is what he says. As simply as possible, Zelensky must be forced to move towards peace. Since Russia has observed that Zelensky does not want to move towards peace, Zelensky remains firm in his position. He wants to continue the war. Because as long as the war continues, he continues to stay in power. Either we accept that Ukraine joins NATO so that he leaves. We appoint another head of state, but he is not ready. So Russia also has very ready, but Russia does not want the whole world to see it as that country that wants to continue waging war. So, given that Zelensky has already behaved badly, on the side of the United States of America, he clearly demonstrated that he wants to continue the war. Arriving again in the United Kingdom at that famous London summit, he remained firm in his position. Russia is therefore forced to proceed with this threat. And there, if Zelensky refuses, if his allies do not understand the threat from Russia will then move to a higher phase on the ground in Ukraine, no one will say that Russia did not want peace. So Russia shifts this responsibility, which involves not wanting peace, and places it on Ukraine, on Zelensky, but especially also on his European allies. That is the first aspect. What is most concerning and profoundly alarming is that we are facing a statement that is deeply troubling and unsettling. That marks a new verbal escalation. It's a form of verbal escalation. This verbal escalation, it remains to be seen if this statement will incite, will it push Kyiv's allies, Ukraine's allies, will it push them to adopt a firmer approach? An approach, I was going to say, more firm, or if it will strengthen, on the contrary, Ukraine's determination to continue the war. So, after this statement from Russia, Ukraine's allies have two choices. Will Ukraine's allies adopt an approach more firm, like what Trump had to do, telling Zelensky, it's this or it's that? Or will the European allies say, well, they will continue to strengthen Ukraine so that Ukraine continues the war? That's the big question being asked. But to answer this second big question, it must be said that it's not certain that it can work. Because America is also putting pressure in its own way. And America is not joking at all. Elon Musk, who announces that the United States of America should withdraw from NATO and withdraw from the UN. You know that the United States of America, recently under the Trump administration, the United States of America is in a new dynamic of isolation. They want to isolate themselves. They want to stay among themselves and avoid having the United States of America continue to finance institutions that bring almost nothing to America. So, within America itself, among the population, we have positions that are divergent. But many today are in favor of America's withdrawal from NATO and the UN. Yes, since we know the financial role that America plays within these different institutions, so the American political landscape appears divided on the issue of international engagement of the country. Some defenders of the Ukrainian cause have recently demonstrated when Zelensky left. Some who defend the cause of Ukraine went to pose Guy Vance, the vice president. Just after the event, the next day, Guy Vance was going on vacation. He was going on a retreat, let's put it that way. They went with signs to say that they are opposed to what happened at the White House, but there may not be many of them. But on the other hand, we have many others who support Gilles de Vance, who support Elon Musk's idea. So we have an emblematic figure, a Republican figure, who had previously called NATO a relic of the Cold War, who is for America withdrawing from NATO. He recently stated that the alliance was a great deal. So this Republican senator called Mick Lee, he stated that the alliance was an excellent deal for Europe, but a bad deal for America. Since today America, look, it's the aspect side. Deal. NATO is a good deal for Europe, but a very bad deal for America. Because NATO, based in Europe, we can say it like this, is there to serve Europe's interests. And most of the funding is done to ensure the security of Europe, European countries, and others. So, in this context, where we have a Republican senator who is violently attacking NATO, he did not attack the UN. Elon Musk intervenes in the debate. So, it is in this context that Elon Musk's role takes on its full importance. So, he shared a message on X, calling for the withdrawal of the United States of America from NATO and from the UN, accompanied by a comment expressing his agreement with this position. He agrees with this position that America should withdraw from NATO. America should withdraw from the United Nations. So, this stance from a figure as influential as Elon Musk could have significant repercussions on the American public debate regarding the role of the United States of America in some international institutions. His intervention is part of a school of thought, isolationist, that is gaining ground in the United States, questioning the historical commitments of the United States on the international stage. Yes, America's historical commitments on the international stage are being called into question. But we know that Elon Musk, everything he says afterward, Trump implements automatically. So it's a matter of time, a matter of hours, we don't know. Imagine, picture this, if America withdraws from NATO, it's over for NATO. Moreover, your reasoning, the United Nations. Simply that Elon Musk has cut certain budgets, USAID and others. We have seen the UN Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, lamenting, shedding tears. Now, if America withdraws from NATO, and that's the new position that Europe has started to take, which involves telling Zelensky to accept a truce, etc., etc. If Zelensky refuses, what will become of Ukraine? And even if he accepted, if the United States withdraws, what will become of Europe without NATO? So here is the question that remains, dear ladies and gentlemen. Here is the essence of international news. Thank you all for sharing it as much as possible. I will be back shortly with more news. This was the voice of your one and only samurai.